everybody. My name is Morgan Gard, and this is your pack preview for Day 2 of the Lindsey Wilson Tournament. And fresh off the court with me is Coach Niekamp to discuss Day 2. So hello, Coach. How are you?
Hello, Morgan. I'm good. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming. This is Day 2, and you faced a lot of conference teams, not just in these 2 days, but over the past 9 days. Is there a strategy behind playing so many different conferences?
You know, it gives us a different look on the court every time we're out there. So many different teams bring so many different things to the court. So it's a great learning experience for us to try to expose their weaknesses and learn from our own. So I think we're going to learn a lot over these couple tournaments.
Do you think you can bring the knowledge of other conferences to the KIAC?
Absolutely. I think we're going to be able to find parallels between teams whenever we get into a conference play. So I think it's going to help us a lot.
Okay, well, one conference team that is new to IU East is the first game today. It's Union, Kentucky, and they're the Bulldogs. They have a huge roster and a great last season. What do you know about them?
Well, they consistently finish in the top 2 of their conference. They trade off with Montreat every year, so I don't expect anything different from them this year.
Great to hear. And your second game today is Bethel, Tennessee, not Bethel, Indiana. And they have a coach who's been there since the beginning. Her name is Starla Couples, and like I said, she definitely knows Wildcat volleyball. You're in your second full year here at IU East. Has it been easier for you? What have you learned?
Yeah, we grew a lot as a team this past year, I think. I think going into the second year, me as well as the returners are really comfortable in the atmosphere that we've kind of created here, and we're building on that. So I think we've done a lot of great things, and it's allowed us to make a lot of good changes for this year.
Okay, that's great to hear. As a coach, do you think you and Mallory, coach to player, have a telepathic connection out on the court and in practice?
You know, it's funny, after 3 years with her, whenever we do defensive drills and I'm hitting at them, I cannot get anything past her. She knows exactly where I'm hitting every time. It's like she goes straight to the spot. So I think after 3 years of being together, we definitely have developed that. We have a great relationship and we have a great bond after being together so long. So yeah, I would say that we do.
Lastly, both teams have international players. Have you ever experienced, as a player or as a coach, any international players?
I don't think as a team that we've faced any international players yet that I can think of. But I played with a lot in college and have played against a lot, and what's really interesting about that is they bring such different styles of play with them from wherever they're from. You know, whether it's ball control or their arm swings or their serve, they bring a lot to the table. So it's always interesting to play against them and play with them.
Well, they have 2 girls from Brazil and then one from Serbia. Do you know anything about their playing styles?
My assistant coach when I was at Buffalo was actually from Brazil. Ooh. So they just bring a lot of fire. They're very energetic. Same with, I had a teammate from Serbia, and she was very similar. They're just very aggressive in the gym, and they're a lot of fun to play with.
Well, great, Coach. It's great having you, and good luck on Day 2.
Thank you.
Thank you. And let's fly this one over to our live commentators at Lindsey Wilson.
All right, thank you, Morgan, and welcome back to Columbia, Kentucky at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic inside the Bigger Sports Center. I'm Caleb Gillock, the voice of your IU East Red Wolves. Great to have you listening once again. Another exciting matchup of IU East volleyball. The Red Wolves about to take on the Bethel University Wildcats out of Tennessee. And as Morgan said, we're often familiar with the Bethel team out of Indiana, the Bethel Pilots, but that's not who we're going to be playing tonight. We are playing the Wildcats from Bethel University. Red Wolves come into this matchup with a record of 2-5 after losing earlier this morning. We'll actually give a quick recap here of what's happened so far here in the Lindsey Wilson College Classic with the Red Wolves. It started out yesterday evening at about 6:30 p.m. there in Indiana, and the Red Wolves were taking on the University of Northwestern Ohio Racers, who came into the matchup with a record of 0-5. IU East came into the matchup with a record of 2-2. IU East jumped out with the first set win, 25-18, and then Northwestern Ohio took the next 3, 25-17, 25-21, and 25-18 to beat IU East in that matchup. Then the Red Wolves turned around and played the host school, the Lindsey Wilson Blue Raiders, at 8:30 last night, and Lindsey Wilson swept the match 3-0 with wins and scores of 25-15, 25-12, and 25-9. And that gave the Red Wolves a record of 0-2 here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Red Wolves turned around and started playing again earlier this afternoon at about 3 o'clock p.m. It was 2 o'clock here, and they were playing a team that came into the matchup with a 1-1 record and has proven throughout this tournament that they are a tough team to beat. That was the Union College Bulldogs, and the Red Wolves played them in 4 sets. Union College won both the first, third, and fourth sets, and IU East won the second set. The scores in that one: Union College won 25-19, 25-22, and 25-20, and the Red Wolves won in the second set 27-25, taking the Bulldogs into a few extra points there before going into a third set. So the Red Wolves definitely did not back down there in that second set. They were just as hungry for a win as the Bulldogs from Union were. So we've been talking about this Bethel team and not had a whole lot of time to see them. We got to watch them play here a few minutes ago against Union, who beat us earlier this afternoon. We'll go ahead and talk about this. This is the first time that IU East has ever played Bethel out of Tennessee. So it'll be interesting to see how the Red Wolves match up with this team, with the IU East team being so young, and also the Bethel team got some experience on there. You've got several different juniors. Doesn't look like they have any seniors, but they've got a dominant junior class, and we'll be talking about one of those players here in a few minutes. Bethel right now has a record of 2-3. They lost to they beat Campbellsville, and they also beat Union. Looks like when they played Campbellsville, they won in 3 with scores of 25-18, 25-23, and 25-23. They just beat Union in 4 with set scores of 25-22, 24-26, 26-24, and 25-22 to beat Union College. Their losses this year are to Cumberland University, as well as the Indiana Institute of Technology, and our KIAC opponent, Asbury University. And when we were talking to some of the folks from Asbury earlier today, they said that number 5 is the one to watch out for, and that's Eloisa Sales. She's a 5'8 junior outside hitter, and she leads Bethel with 3.6 kills and 4.5 digs per set. So the teams shaking hands here before the matchup begins. It should be another exciting matchup of IU East volleyball right here on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network. We're glad that you are tuning in to watch this matchup with us this evening. It's the final game for the Red Wolves here in Columbia, Kentucky. As soon as this game's over with, they'll have some time to get ready. We'll stop and get some food on the way back to Richmond. But the drive back to campus tonight is going to be overnight. So looks like we'll get back in somewhere between 2 and 3 o'clock back there in Indiana. So another long night ahead yet for the Red Wolves on the way back to Richmond. So it looks like we are about ready to play here. The players are all out on the floor. And we'll just wait until they get started. Let's see, out on the floor for IU East: Madison Yoder, Hannah Best, Mallory Livingston, Sydney Durham, Abby Ketchum, and Bella Pavey, all starting for IU East here in the first set. So, as seems to be the common starting group for the Red Wolves. And looks like we are ready to go. The serve is going to start with Bethel. And their starting server is going to be number 2. That is Maddie Morris. Morris is a 5'3 junior from Kentucky. Here's her serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder. Set by Pavey. Here's Livingston with the attack. And that's going to be a 1-0 start for the Red Wolves here in this matchup against Bethel. The Bethel Wildcats. That's going to put Sydney Durham back to serve now for IU East. Once again, a 1-0 lead here in the first set. Obviously, IU East wanting to pick up a win before going home to Richmond tonight. Another point to the Red Wolves off of 2 hits, and it's now a 2-0 lead. IU East, the home team on the scoreboard for the first time in the matchup. That's going to be out of bounds and a point to Bethel. So waiting on the Bethel serve. Goes over into the back row, set by Pavey. Ketchum with the attack. It's going to be tipped out of bounds on a point to the Red Wolves. Gives them a 3-1 start. So it's 3-1 here in the first set. IU East has the lead. There's the set and the attack. Goes over to Ketchum. She gets it back over with a dig. And it's going to be called out of bounds after Bethel stood there and watched it go out of bounds. A smart move on their part. And the libero for Bethel will go back to serve. That's going to be number 25, Rebecca Yopes, a 5'7" junior from West Dundee, Illinois. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Missy Bedell able to keep the ball alive for IU East. There's the attack. Yoder with the dig. Steinbrenner with one as well. And Mallory Livingston gets the kill for the Red Wolves. And it's a 2-point lead for IU East, 4-2. Mallory Livingston, the only senior on the IU East roster, going back to serve for the Red Wolves. There's the zig for Bethel, and the attack goes over to Madison Yoder. She's able to keep the ball alive. There's a dig in the back row by the Wildcats. It's going to be hit out of bounds, goes long, and the Red Wolves now have a 3-point advantage over the Wildcats, 5-2. Goes over to the back row to Aloysia Sales. And it's going to be tipped out of bounds this time. A point to the Wildcats. And it's now 5-3. So new server back there for the Wildcats. Looks like this is going to be number 16, Monique Johnson. She's a 5'6" junior from Michigan. There's the set by Ketchum and the attack by Steinbrenner. This is going to be a point off of the net violation, and it's now 5-4. So the Wildcats trying to close in on this IU East lead here in the first set. Here's the serve, goes over to the back row to Madison Yoder with the dig. Mallory Livingston has one as well. Bailey Gates' attack goes out of bounds, and that ties it up here in the first set at 5. So 5-5 here in the first set. Johnson will continue to serve for the Wildcats. This is going to be tipped out of bounds, and another point. Bethel will have their first lead in the matchup by 1, 6-5. Been definitely a competitive tournament here at Lindsey Wilson this weekend. We talked about that a little bit last weekend, how much more competitive that this one could be compared to what we saw last week at Grace, and it has definitely lived up to what we expected. 6-6 here in the first set. Madison Yoder back to serve for the Red Wolves. The sophomore from Ben Davis High School is going to be tipped out of bounds, and another point to the Red Wolves, who take the lead back 7-6. IU East in their 8th match of the season. Now here's the serve from Yoder. This one goes over to her, and it's going to be a service error. So a point to the Wildcats. Ties it up at 7. Here's the serve from the Wildcats. Goes over to the IU East side of the net. And there's Sydney Durham with the kill for the Red Wolves, but they're going to say that it was hit out of bounds without a tip. And that's going to put Bethel up 8-7. So an 8-7 lead here in the first set for the Bethel Wildcats. Here's the serve, goes over to Mallory Livingston, set by Abby Ketchum. Here's Missy Bedell with the attack, is picked up by the Wildcats. Here's another set. Gates is going to get an attempt at it, and it goes out of bounds once more, and it's a 9-7 lead for the Wildcats. Here's the serve from number 14. That's Bianca Mayfield from Memphis, Tennessee. There's a 5'8" freshman right side hitter for the Wildcats of Bethel. There's a point to the Red Wolves that time, and it makes it 9-8. The Red Wolves have a chance to tie here. Bella Pavey back to serve for IU East. Here's the serve. It goes over to the libero, which is number 25, Rebecca Jobst. And this is going to be tipped out of bounds. Another point to the Red Wolves, and they tie it up at 9. So 9-9 here in the first set. Another close matchup. That has seemed to be really common here this weekend from not just the games that we have played in, but as well as some of the others that we've seen. There's the set. This one goes over to Yoder with the dig, set by Pavey. Here is Bailey Gates. It goes over and is picked up, but a little miscommunication there and running out of real estate as she runs into the net. And the Red Wolves will take a 10-9 lead here in the first set. I mentioned that Bella Pavey's back to serve for the Red Wolves. Pavey's a 5'3" freshman from Liberty, Indiana, went to Union County High School. Here's the set. And this is going to be a point to IU East off of 2 hits, 11-9. Pavey will continue to serve for the Red Wolves. Serve goes over, and this is going to be a service error, a point to the Wildcats. And now they have double digits on the scoreboard, 11-10. And this is going to send, looks like number 20 back, that's Sierra McDowell. She's a 5'4" sophomore. As we picked up at a point to the Red Wolves after they can't get it back across. And the Red Wolves will now have a 2-point lead, 12-10. So a 2-point lead, Bailey Gates, returning sophomore for IU East, back to serve, goes over and back to Madison Yoder. And that was actually Bailey Gates diving on the ground that time for the ball. And that was a point back to the Wildcats, closing in on the Red Wolves' lead once again, 12-11. Waiting to see who the new server is for the Wildcats, and it's going to be number 2, Maddie Morris, the 5'3" junior. Set by Pavey. There's Mallory Livingston, picked up by the Wildcat back row. Johnson gets it across, and it's going to be another point for the Wildcats. Now 12-all here in the first set. Here's the serve from Maddie Morris. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Pavey with one as well. Livingston gets the chance for the attack. And the Wildcats able to keep it alive. Goes over to Bella Pavey. Hannah Best gets the set up in the air. Pavey digs it across the net. And that's going to be a kill for the Wildcats. Trying to see who it was with the kill that time, but can't see the number on her uniform. From here, it looks like 15. And that's Daisy Lillenquist. 13-12. Wildcats have the lead. Livingston with a kill to answer right back. And she ties it up for IU East, 13-all. Keep mentioning that Livingston joined the 1,000 kill club at IU East last year. He also had 1,000 career kills back in high school. There's the dig by Jobst. Set by Pavey. Catch him with the attack. Takes a hit off the hands, and the Wildcats able to keep playing it. Picked up by Sydney Durham. Here's Livingston once more. This one goes out of bounds, and it'll be a point to the Wildcats. And they now have a 14-13 lead. Here's the serve. Goes across to Hannah Best. Yoder with the dig. Here's Ketchum once again. She gets blocked up front. And that's going to be another point to the Wildcats 15-13. Permission to serve for the Bethel server, and this is going to be a service error for them. And it's now 15-14. Red Wolves trail by 1. Puts Abby Ketchum back to serve for the Red Wolves. Her serve goes across, picked up by the back row. There's the set by Best, and Ketchum as well. Bethel with the attack, and that's going to be a point for the Red Wolves. Ties it up at 15. Hannah Best gives the ball to Abby Ketchum. Ketchum, one of the newcomers on the IU East roster this year. The 5'10 freshman from Indianapolis went to Perry Meridian High School. That attack by Missy Bedell is going to be called out of bounds. And a 1-point lead back to Bethel. So 16-15 in the first set. Once again, if you're just joining us, we are in the first set, getting a little bit of a late start compared to what we were supposed to have. The match between Union and Bethel before us went a little long, as it was pretty much tied all throughout. And Bethel having to hurry and get the ball across to avoid 4 hits. And they hit it out of bounds instead. So now we're all tied up at 16. Mallory Livingston back to serve for IU East. Her serve goes over to the back row, set, and goes over to Mallory Livingston with the dig, set by Ketchum. Here's Bailey Gates. This one goes into the back row, and it's going to be out of bounds off of the Red Wolves this time after it goes off the forehand for the dig. Looked like it was either Gates or Livingston back there. I wasn't able to tell who got a hand on the ball that time. But it's a 1-point lead for Bethel, 17-16. Here's the serve from Monique Johnson. There's the set, and Steinbrenner with the attack. Doesn't get it, fakes it this time. Bedell tried to get it across for the Red Wolves. Yoder with the dig. Here's Mallory Livingston. Goes over into the back row to Yopes. And we're going to try it again. It's going to be out of bounds this time. A point to the Red Wolves. Ties it up at 17. There's 17 all here in the first set. Madison Yoder goes back to serve. Yoder, a 5'5 sophomore, defensive specialist, plays the libero position for the Red Wolves. And hits it up between the rafters, but a little miscommunication there, it looked like, between Durham and Gates. And it's going to be out of bounds. 18-17 lead for the Bethel Wildcats. Here's the serve. Goes over to Livingston. Ketchum sets it. Durham gets it across, and it's going to be inbounds. A point to the Red Wolves. And they will tie it up 18 all. It's going to send Bella Pavey back to serve. Right now, the thing to still keep in mind about this IU East team is it's still just such a young team, new team at that. With so many new players on the roster this year, this is going to be a point to Bethel off of 2 hits. And subs coming into the game here for the Wildcats. It looks like into serve is going to be number 20. That is Sierra McDowell. We talked a little bit about her earlier, the 5'4 sophomore defensive specialist. And it looks like we're ready to go. So 19-18 in favor of Bethel. There's the dig by Yoder. Gates with the attack. She gets blocked up front. And now it is 20-18 in favor of the Wildcats in the first set. A lot of communicating over here on the IU East side of the floor. So the serve goes over to Yoder. Just in front of Gates that time. Ketchum with the attack that gets blocked, and now it's 21-18. Three-point advantage for the Wildcats in the first set. Here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder. Set by Ketchum. Durham gets it across, but over into the back row and saved by the Wildcats. And this is going to be hit out of bounds. A point to IU East, making it a 2-point game. 21-19. Bailey Gates goes back to serve again for the Red Wolves. Here's her serve, goes across, over into the back row. There's the set, and a whistle. It's going to be a point to the Red Wolves off of 2 hits. And it's now 21-20. Red Wolves trying to tie it up and take the lead. Here's the serve by Gates. Goes across, and it's going to be an ace. Ties it up at 21. And there's a timeout taken by Bethel after the Red Wolves come back to tie it up. We'll take a timeout as well. Be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And welcome back to IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. The Red Wolves have rallied back and tied it up 21-21 here in the first set. And it's still anyone's game here in the first set. Obviously, it's all tied up. Right now, Bethel fired up. They're coming in off of a win over Union, who the Red Wolves fell to earlier today. And IU East, obviously, 0-3 so far this weekend, so they're fired up trying to get a win here as well. Bailey Gates still back to serve for IU East. Tied up 21-21 here in the first set. Here's the serve, goes over into the back row. And it goes into the net. And this will be a point to the Red Wolves, and they take a 1-point lead back, 22-21. So Bailey Gates back to serve, continuing to serve for IU East. Here's her serve, and this is going to be a service error after it is served long, and ties it up at 22. So 22 all here in the first set. And that's going to send Maddie Morris back to serve again for the Wildcats. Here's her serve, goes over to Yoder with the dig. Pavey with one as well. Ketchum with the attack, gets blocked, but Yoder saves it with a dig. Here's a set by Pavey. Livingston gets her chance. She saves it with a dig after being blocked. Here's Ketchum. There's the set. Goes over to Pavey. Dig by Yoder. Here's Livingston. And almost blocked up front. There's going to be a point to the Red Wolves off of a little bit of a mistake there. Thought she had it back over the net and didn't after it falls down to the floor. So 23-22. And that's going to send Sydney Durham back to serve for IU East. A chance to take the win. Bring up set point anyways. Here's the set. And the attack goes over to the back row. Picked up by Pavey. Quick reaction. Here's Ketchum. Drops and the libero there to save it. And this is going over to Bella Pavey. And it'll be out of bounds. A point to the Wildcats, all tied up at 23. So another close one here inside the Figures Gym. There's the serve. Goes over to Pavey. Ketchum gets blocked up front, and now it's a 23 lead for Bethel. So they score here, they take the first set win. Or if IU East can hold them and tie it up. It goes over to Hannah Best. And this is going to be an attack by Livingston. They're going to say it was out of bounds, and that will give Bethel the first set win, 25-23, and they will now lead the match 1-0. So great effort there by both teams in the first set. IU East just had to be quick to react in a couple of situations, and a couple mistakes made by both teams was the difference in that set. Once again, the final score in the first set was 25-23. Bethel has the 1-0 lead in the match. So we will be right back with the second set of IU East Volleyball right here on the Red Wolf Sports Network right after this. Yoder able to come out and keep the ball alive. Here's the serve from Yoder. And that's going to be an ace. A point for the Red Wolves. Yoder with the hit. Yoder
Great
keeping the
save.
ball alive. Yoder able to keep it alive for the Red Wolves. Yoder gets the ball across the net.
Yoder saves it again.
Kept alive by Yoder with one hand. Madison Yoder able to keep the ball alive.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. I'm Kellen Gillock, the voice of your IU East Red Wolves. Thanks for joining us once again. Right now, Bethel University out of Tennessee, they have the lead here in the match. 1-0 over the IU East Red Wolves after winning the first set 25-23. And that's going to put Bailey Gates back to serve for IU East to begin the second set. Here's the serve from Bailey Gates from Winchester. First serve is going to be a service error after it goes into the net, and it'll be a point to Bethel to start off the set 1-0. Here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Ketchum gets it across this time. Almost a point for the Red Wolves, and this is going to be out of bounds. Point to IU East, ties it up 1-1. Sydney Durham goes back to serve now for IU East. Durham from Noblesville, Indiana. Also went to South Florida State. In college, there was an attack by the Red Wolves, but it's going to be out of bounds off of Morgan Steinbrenner. And it'll be a point to the Wildcats 2-1. That puts the Bethel libero back to serve. That's Rebecca Yobes, a 5'7" junior. There's the set. Here is Livingston with the attack. And I'd hate to be behind that one when it's coming at you. Here is a point to the Red Wolves off of the out-of-bounds call. And it is now tied up at 2. 2-2 here in the second set, a 1-0 lead in the game. We talked about how much it was just back and forth between the two teams there in the first set, and Coach Niekamp Was talking a little bit about that back in the post-game show after the Union matchup. And that one there is going to be a kill for the Wildcats. They take the 3-2 lead. They put Monique Johnson back to serve. That'll be a service error and a point to the Red Wolves. Ties it up at 3. So Mallory Livingston will go back to serve now for IU East. Here's the serve. And it goes over into the Wildcat back row. Here's the attack. And it's going to be good for a kill. And that'll be another point to the Wildcats, 4-3. Definitely some good teams here in this tournament. And even if you come out of it with several losses, doesn't mean that you're a bad team because of how competitive this tournament is this year. Here's the dig, and the attack goes over to Mallory Livingston with the dig. Yoder with one as well. Here's Gates. This is going to be out of bounds, and it'll be another point to Bethel, 5-3. So a 2-point advantage for the Wildcats. And number 15, that's Daisy Lillenquist. She's over to serve now for the Wildcats. Lillenquist, a 5'9 sophomore from Dyersburg, Tennessee. Plays outside hitter, and this is going to be a point to IU East after the Wildcats not able to get the ball back across the net. 5-4, the Red Wolves trail by 1. Madison Yoder goes back to serve now for IU East. Yoder, one of the sophomores on the roster this year. Here's the set, and gets it across. Ketchum able to save it with a dig. Here's Bedell with the attack. Goes over into the back row, and the Wildcats able to keep the play alive as well. There is a dig by Gates. An attack by Bedell, and it gets blocked up in the front row. Looked like that was by Shayla Smith, a 5'9 freshman middle blocker from Clarksville, Tennessee. And that's going to be a 6-4 lead now for the Wildcats of Bethel. Here's the serve from Sierra McDowell. Goes over into the back row to Mallory Livingston. There's the set. And the attack over to Livingston once more with the dig set by Ketchum. Here is a block up front once more. And that block trying to get a number off of the uniform. Just can't see the numbers from where I'm standing. It's going to be 7-4. Here's the serve. Goes Crocs. Here's Gates with the attack. Gently over the net that time. Nothing with too much force. And that's going to be a point to IU East off of 4 hits. So that narrows the Bethel lead down to 2, 7-5. Bella Pavey back to serve for the Red Wolves. Freshman from Union County High School over in Liberty, Indiana. Here's the serve. Goes over into the back row to Lillenquist. And that time it looked like Aloysia Sales was trying to get it back across, but goes into the net, and a point to IU East. Brings it down to a 1-point game, 7-6. Here's the serve from Pavey. Goes over into the back row to Yopes. And there's the attack over to Livingston. Was able to get it with the dig and pushes it over. Trying to find some space on the floor that time, but Wildcats were able to save it. Dig by Yoder and Pavey as well. Gates with the attack and the kill. And it's now a tie game here in the second set at 7. Bella Pavey will continue to serve for IU East. Here's the serve. Goes across the net. There's the set. Dig by Yopes. And Madison Yoder that time with the dig to get it across. Set by Pavey. Kept alive by Yoder. Here's Livingston with the attack. And it's going to be over to Mallory Livingston. Once again, we've got too many Mallorys and Madisons this year once again. And There's the set by Pavey. Gates gets blocked up front, but saved by Yoder. But it goes out of bounds, and it'll result in a point to Bethel. Great play there between the two teams. And it gives Bethel a 1-point lead here in the second set. 8-7. Here's the serve. Goes across the net over to Yoder with the dig. There's Pavey. And here is Tori Snyder. She's in the game now for IU East. Bailey Gates gets it over with the attack. And that's going to be a kill for Bethel, who now leads 9-7. Waiting on the serve, trying to see who the Bethel server is now. Meanwhile, Bailey Gates that time gets the hit for the Red Wolves, and it's tipped out of bounds, so it'll give a point to the Red Wolves. It's now 9-8. IU East down by 1. Here's Bailey Gates back to serve once more for IU East. Her serve goes across, and it's going to be long, so a service error will result in a point to Bethel and gives them double digits here in the second set, 10-8. Loisa Sales goes back to serve now. She's one of the players from Brazil that Morgan talked about there in the pack preview. Here's Livingston with the kill for IU East, and it's now 10-9. IU East not backing down here in the second set either. Cindy Durham back to serve for the Red Wolves. Her serve goes across over to Lillenquist. And it's going to be out of bounds off of the attack up on the front row. So that will tie it up 10-10 in the second set. Here's the serve from Durham. Goes over to Yomes. And Mallory Livingston plays it off the net. Morgan Steinbrenner was able to keep it alive that time for IU East. Blocked up front by Livingston. It'll be a point to the Red Wolves off of some illegal lift. And it's now 11-10. Cindy Durham continues to serve for the Red Wolves. This serve goes over to the left side to Lillenquist. Her attack goes back to Durham, who had the dig. Here is Livingston with the attack, kept alive by Yost. And this is going to be a kill for the Wildcats and ties it up 11-11. So still all tied up here in the second set, 11-all. And that's going to send Rebecca Yopes back to serve once more for the Wildcats. And there's a point to the Wildcats. They take the lead back, 12-11. There's the serve, goes over to Hannah Best with the dig, set by Pavey. Here is Livingston. She gets blocked up front, but the Red Wolves keep it alive. Livingston with another opportunity. Goes over to the back row. Couple of digs here by the Wildcats. Steinbrenner gets it across. Here's the set, and back over to Livingston. There's the set. Goes over to Hannah Best in the back row. Set by Pavey. Best keeps it alive with the dig. And it's going to go underneath the net, so it'll result in a point. And ties it up 12-12. Abby Ketchum goes back to serve now for IU East. Here's her serve. It goes over into the back row to Lillenquist. And it's another point to the Wildcats. 13-12. So a 1-point lead. And that's going to send Monique Johnson back to serve again for the Wildcats. Johnson, a 5'6" junior, Plays outside hitter for Bethel. Dig by Yoder. There's the set. And it's going to be another point to Bethel off of a net violation, 14-12. So the Wildcats will continue to serve. Goes across. Here's Bedell. And goes up into the ceiling. Going to have to chase after this one, and it goes out of bounds, so it'll be a point to the Red Wolves, 14-13. The Red Wolves only down by 1, and here's the serve for Mallory Livingston. And it's going to be another point to the Red Wolves, ties it up at 14. So it's 14 all here in the second set. And here's the serve. Goes over into the back row. Gets it over and off the hands of Madison Yoder. And that gives another point back to the Wildcats of Bethel. They have a 15-14 lead. There's the serve. Goes over to Yoder. And maybe tipped out of bounds off the hands of Yobes. And that ties it up at 15. Waiting on the IU East serve. This time it's Madison Yoder back to serve for the Red Wolves. Here's her serve. It goes over, and it's going to be not returned by the Wildcats, so it's 16-15. Madison Yoder still serving for the Red Wolves. Here's the serve, goes over. Back to Yobst. And it's going to be set, and the attack by Bedell. And it's going to go with the line judge's call out of bounds. A point to Bethel. So it's still just another close matchup between these teams here at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Gates gets it across, rolls across the top of the net, and that's going to be put down in the stats book as a kill, 17-16. Bethel with the lead. McDowell back to serve once more for the Wildcats. Her serve goes over to Livingston with the dig, set by Ketchum. And a kill by Durham. Ties it up 17 all. So all tied up here in the second set. The lead to the match belongs to Bethel, who leads 1-0 after a 25-23 win in the first set. Here's the serve. Goes over. There's the dig. Blocked up front by Durham, but kept alive by the Wildcats. Goes off the hands of Livingston, and just confusion as no one really seemed to know what was going on there. And that will give a point to the Wildcats, who now lead 18-17. Maddie Morris goes back to serve once more for Bethel University. Here's the serve, goes over to Madison Yoder, and out of bounds off of her hands after it looked like it maybe went off of the side of her right hand and out of bounds, so 19-17. Two-point lead for the Wildcats. There's the dig by Yoder. Another attack by Durham. Goes back across, set by Livingston, set by Pavey. And there's Durham this time, and it's going to go out of bounds. A point to the Red Wolves. And we're back down to a 1-point game, 19-18. Perfect opportunity for the Red Wolves to try to take control of the second set right here by tying it up if they can. Here's the set. Goes over to Mallory Livingston with the dig. There's Livingston once again, and this is going to be 2 hits called on the Red Wolves. It's now 20-18. Bethel with the lead. Loisa Sales goes back to serve for the Wildcats. Here's her serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. Set by Pavey. Here's Durham. It'll be out of bounds, and another point to the Wildcats, 21-18. Three-point lead. Here's the serve. It's going to be a service error, a point to the Red Wolves. Now 21-19. Sydney Durham from Noblesville goes back to serve. Over, here's the set. Over to Hannah Best. Livingston gets it back across. And that's going to be another point to Bethel. 22-19 in the second set. They have the 1-0 lead in the match. Becca Yopes goes back to serve again for the Wildcats. Goes over to Hannah Best with the dig. Set by Pavey. Here's Livingston with the attack. Goes way up in the air off of the dig by Yopes. And it's going to be an antenna violation out of bounds. And it's 22-20. There's still a 2-point lead for the Wildcats. Red Wolves will have to start working here. Here's the serve from Ketchum. And it's going to be blocked up front by Morgan Steinbrenner. And now it's 22-21. And a timeout taken by Bethel University. So we'll take one as well, 22-21. Bethel University has the lead here in the second set, as well as the 1-0 lead in the match. You're watching IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. A 22-21 lead for Bethel University, but Abby Ketchum back to serve for IU East. IU East does have possession of the ball coming out of the timeout taken by Bethel University. Here's the serve. Goes across. Yoder with the dig, set by Ketchum. Here's Mallory Livingston. Goes over to Yobst. And this is going to be out of bounds. A point to the Red Wolves. Ties it up at 22. All. The Red Wolves looking to take a win here. Just have to hang on for 3 more points. Here's the serve. Yoder with the dig, set by Ketchum. And that's going to be another point to IU East, 23-22. Ketchum continues to serve for the Red Wolves. This goes over to the back row. Here's the dig and the attack. It goes off the chest of Ketchum. Ball still in play. Here's the set. And another attack. Kept alive by Yoder with the dig. Set by Ketchum. Here's Livingston with the kill. And it's 24-22. Brings up set point for the IU East Red Wolves here in the second set. And that's going to be another timeout taken by Bethel University, who now trails by 2 here in the second set. So 24-22, 1-0 lead in the match for Bethel University. IU East has the lead in the second set. Be right back with more IU East volleyball right after this.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. 24-22. IU East has the lead and possession of the ball coming out of the timeout. Here's the serve by Ketchum. There's the dig. And another. Yost gets it across with the dig. Now here is the save by the Wildcats. Kept alive by the Red Wolves as well. Bedell with the attack. And that's going to be a point to the Red Wolves. They pick up the second set win, 25-22. And that's going to tie the match up 1-1 after a 25-22 win here in the second set. So another exciting matchup. It was close all the way throughout, but it just took an opportunity for the Red Wolves to catch a break and some mental errors on the Bethel side of the floor. But the Red Wolves ahead, and from there the Red Wolves were able to take advantage of their lead and win the second set. So the match is now all tied up 1-1. We're going to take another break and be coming back with the third set of IU East Volleyball right here on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network right after this. Nice one there in the front row by number 21, Morgan Steinbrenner. And here's Morgan Steinbrenner. Her kill will be good. And that time up front was Steinbrenner with the block. Steinbrenner with the kill. Here's Steinbrenner for the kill. Gently over the net. There's Steinbrenner with the kill. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network. An exciting win there in the second set for the IU East Red Wolves, who picked up a win to tie the match 25-22 over the Bethel University Wildcats. And a lot of great effort there by both the Red Wolves and the Wildcats. But like we mentioned, just a break there for the IU East Red Wolves. Possibly some timeouts help change the momentum and pace of the game. So right now we are all tied up 1-1 going into the third set here at the 2015 Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Red Wolves looking to pick up their first win, or first match win here this weekend. That would pick up win number 3 on the season. So this match will go at least 4 sets. Once again, IU East, the home team on the scoreboard, and Bethel is the away team. Looks like we're ready to go. Back to serve is going to be Maddie Morris. Waiting to get permission to serve, and she does. Here's the serve. And it's going to result in a point to the Red Wolves to start off the third set. So a 1-0, 1-1 now after a point to Bethel. Here's the serve, goes over to Hannah Best, set by Pavey. And it's going to be another point to IU East. Gives them the 2-1 lead. Madison Yoder throws the ball back to Abby Ketchum, who will now be serving for IU East. Here's the serve. Goes over to the Wildcats. Livingston with the dig. She gets it across this time for a kill, and it's now 3-1. I know that we've talked about it several times in our broadcasts, and it seems to be a topic brought up off the air as well, as just getting this team to bond because they're such a young team. And if you saw where they're at last weekend to this weekend, you can tell that they've definitely bonded to become more of a team, starting to gel a little bit. And there's another point to the Red Wolves, now 4-1 over Bethel University. Abby Ketchum continues to serve for IU East. Right now, Bethel just wanting a little bit of an explanation on why that was the call. Serve goes over. There's the dig, and the attack goes over and slides underneath the hands of Hannah Best. And that'll be a point to the Wildcats, 4-2. Here's the serve from Yobst. Goes across over to Yoder with the dig. And it's going to be blocked up front, but it'll be out of bounds. And it's 5-2. It's going to bring Bailey Gates back into the game for IU East. Red Wolves have a 3-point advantage over the Wildcats. Now here's the serve from Livingston. There's the dig by Morris. Goes over to the back row to Livingston. Keeps it alive. Here's Bailey Gates. Goes out of bounds. And it'll be a point to Bethel, 5-3. Bethel bringing a sub back into the game. Looks like this is going to be number 14. That's Brianka Mayfield. Serve goes over to Madison Yoder. Set by Ketchum. And there's Steinbrenner with the kill for IU East. It is now 6-3. Madison Yoder from Ben Davis High School goes back to serve for IU East. And here's the serve. There's the set by Johnson. And blocked up front by Durham and Bedell. And it is now 7-3. And there's a timeout taken by Bethel, who now trails by 4. And I don't have it written down anywhere, but I do believe that is the most that Bethel has trailed at any point in this matchup between the Red Wolves and the Wildcats. So there's a timeout down on the floor by Bethel. We're going to take a quick one here as well. We'll be right back with more IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. A 7-3 lead for the Red Wolves, and they still have possession of the ball coming out of the timeout. Here is Madison Yoder. It's going to be a service error. It gives a point back to the Wildcats. It's now 7-4. Still a 3-point advantage for IU East. That's going to be a point back to the Red Wolves, 8-4. A 4-point lead for the Red Wolves as looks like number 12, Bella Pavey, goes back to serve for the Red Wolves. Out on the floor right now is Snyder, Durham, Gates, Yoder, Livingston, and Pavey. Here's the serve. Goes over. There's the set. Gets it across over to Mallory Livingston. And Snyder with the attack that time. And a point to the Red Wolves, now 9-4. Snyder comes up with a big kill for the Red Wolves. And Pavey continues to serve. Here's the serve. It goes across and over into the back row. Going to be set, and this is going to be a point to IU East. And it's now 10-4 in favor of the Red Wolves. Serve from Pavey, goes over into the back row. Kept alive by a dig. And here is Gates. This is going to be tipped out of bounds and a point to the Red Wolves. It's now 11-4. Up by 7 in the third set. So IU East beginning to catch a little bit of fire here in the third set. They're going to bring Lillenquist back into the game for the Wildcats. And here is Bella Pavey. Serving once more for the Red Wolves. Goes over to the back row to Jobst. And Pavey. Going to be kept alive by Bailey Gates. And goes over to Madison Yoder now with the dig set by Pavey. Here is Durham, and this is going to be a point off of 2 hits to Bethel. So it's now 11-5, still up by 6. Back to serve. It's going to be Sierra McDowell. There's going to be a block up front and another point to the Wildcats. 11-6. There's the serve and off the hands of Livingston. Now 11-7. Still a 4-point lead for IU East. Here's the serve. And Durham with the kill this time, and it's a point to the Red Wolves. Now it's 12-7. Bailey Gates goes back to serve for the Red Wolves. And that'll be a service error, a point to the Wildcats. Now it's 12-8. So a 4-point lead for IU East. And it looks like Maddie Morris goes back to serve again for the Wildcats. Here's her serve, goes over to Madison Yoder in the back row with the dig. Pavey gets it this time as well. Livingston with the attack. And that's going to be a kill for the Wildcats, who now only trail by 3, 12-9. Red Wolves were up by as many as 7 here in the third set. Set by Pavey. Durham gets it across for the Red Wolves and blocked up front this time by Durham. And it's now 13-9 off of a good block up front by Sydney Durham. She goes back to serve now for the Red Wolves. Still a 4-point advantage for IU East. And the Bigger Sports Center becoming more quiet as this tournament coming to a close. It's going to be a service error and a point to Bethel. They break double digits here in the third set, 13-10. Here's the serve, goes over to the back row to Madison Yoder with the dig, set by Pavey. Here's Tori Snyder, gets it across this time for IU East. Now it goes over to Madison Yoder, and it's going to be out of bounds. 13-11 off of the tip. Two-point advantage for IU East. Serve goes over to Hannah Best. Set by Pavey. And it's going to be blocked by Livingston. But it goes into the net, and Fort Hits called on IU East. Now 13-12. Well, it was a 7-point advantage for IU East, is now only a 1-point lead. Here's the serve. Goes over to the back row to Hannah Best. Set by Pavey. And it's going to be a point to IU East. They take a 2-point advantage back. It's now 14-12. And trying to see who's going to go back to serve now for the Red Wolves. It looks like Missy Bedell's back into the game, but Abby Ketchum comes in. She's going to go back to serve. Here's the dig. Wildcats trying to get it across. They blocked up front. A point to the Red Wolves, 15-12. There's the serve. And another point by Mallory Livingston. Good effort up front, and it's 16-12, now a 4-point lead. Here's the serve, and it's going to be a service error by Ketchum. 16-13. Red Wolves have a 3-point lead. Serve goes across. And another nice kill by Mallory Livingston. And it's now going to be a 4-point lead, 17-13. Livingston back to serve for the Red Wolves now. Here's the serve. Goes across over into the back row. Here's the set. And it's going to be close call, but it's going to be out of bounds. It's going to be 18-13. A 5-point lead for the IU East Red Wolves. Quick thinking there on everyone's part. There's the serve. The set. And it's going to be out of bounds off the hands of Madison Yoder. And you can tell by the way she's shaking her head. There's nothing that she was going to be able to do about that one. So it's going to go back over to the Bethel side to be served now. And Monique Johnson back to serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder. Here's the set. Gates with the attack. It's going to be tipped out of bounds and a point to the Red Wolves. And they are up by 5. 19-14. Yoder back to serve. There it goes. It's going to be a service error. Just barely missed clearing the net. And it's back to a 4-point game, 19-15. And Daisy Lillenquist is going to go back to serve for the Wildcats. Here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder with the dig. And here is Missy Bedell with the attack. Picked up by Monique Johnson. And back over to the Red Wolves. It's going to be hit down and a point to the Wildcats, 19-16. So a 3-point advantage for the IU East Red Wolves. Here's the serve. Goes over to Livingston. Gates with the attack, kept alive by Monique Johnson. And here's another attack. Picked up by Ketchum, but it goes off the floor. And it is now 19-17. The lead's been narrowed down to 2. The Red Wolves have to keep working here in the third set to hang on to this lead that they've established. And after winning the second set, 25-22. It is going to be blocked up front by Durham and tipped out of bounds. IU East wants to take a timeout as it's only a 1-point game now after being up by 7. So as Coach Abby Niekamp takes a timeout to discuss some things with the IU East Red Wolves, we're going to take a quick break here as well on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network and be right back right after this. Hello, I'm Caleb Gillock, the host of Inside IUE Sports, a show where we talk with coaches, players, and other guests about what's happening with IUE's athletics.
In the top 100 high school seniors.
Last year we were fortunate enough to do a variety of things on the track and then off to be able to be considered.
Make sure to join us on Friday nights at 8:30 p.m. on WETV Channel 20. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. 19-18, the IU East Red Wolves have the lead, and it's going to be Bethel ball coming out of the timeout. Daisy Lilliquist back to serve. Here is the serve from the 5'9" sophomore outside hitter. And this one's going to be over to the back row to Madison Yoder. Durham tries to tip it over, kept alive by the Wildcats. Now here we go again. Yoder with the dig, set by Ketchum. Here's Bedell. She's going to take a chance at it. And it's going to be blocked up in the front row by the Wildcats. And it's now a tie game, 19-19. Lilliquist continues to serve. Here's the serve, goes over into the back row to Mallory Livingston. Here's the set by Ketchum. And Gates with the kill this time for IU East. Gives the Red Wolves back a 1-point lead, 20-19. So a 1-point lead for IU East. Here's the serve from Bella Pavey. Goes over to Jobst. Nearing the scorers table. Kept alive by the Red Wolves. Here's Tori Snyder. Gets it across once again for IU East. And it's going to be a point to IU East off of 2 hits, 21-19. So a 2-point advantage as we near the end of the third set for the IU East Red Wolves. Here's the serve from Bella Pavey. Goes over to the other side to the Wildcats. Blocked up front by, looks like, Snyder and Durham. And it's now 22-19. Red Wolves nearing the end of the third set. Bella Pavey continues to serve for the Red Wolves. And it's going to be a timeout now by Bethel, who trails by 3. So we'll take another timeout as well right here on the IU East Red Wolves Sports Network.
This is where a busy mom can work toward a bachelor's degree from a top national university during softball practice. It's where a service member can continue his college studies from anywhere in the world, and where you'll benefit from one of the country's most effectively delivered online programs.
Woohoo!
So, if you've ever wondered if a college education is really worth it, this is where you'll see that it is. This is Indiana University East Online.
And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Right now, the IU East Red Wolves have the 22-19 lead here in the third set. The match all tied up at 1. Here's the serve from Bella Pavey. Goes over. There's the dig by Pavey. Durham gets it back across. And it's going to be blocked up front by Red Wolves. Tipped it out of bounds, however. So it is 22-20. And it will be Bethel ball. Here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder. There's the set, and it's going to be out of bounds off of a tip. 23-20. IU East has the lead. IU East 2 points away from taking the 2-1 lead in the match. Here's the serve from Gates. Goes over. There's the attack, and it's going to be a point to IU East. And that brings up set point here in the third set. The Red Wolves looking to take the lead in the match as Madison Yoder tosses the ball back to Bailey Gates, who will be serving. And here's Gates to serve the set point. Goes over to the Wildcats, set up front. It's going to be a point here by Bethel to make it a 3-point game, 24-21. Going back to serve is going to be number 2. That's Maddie Morris. And the Red Wolves going to try to get a stop here on defense to close out the third set. There's a dig by Yoder. And Livingston with the kill. It's going to be over and out of bounds. And a 25-21 win here in the third set for the IU East Red Wolves. And they now have the 2-1 lead in the match. Looking for a third as we head into the fourth set. So a great matchup there by the Red Wolves. Jumped out with an early lead, up by as many as 7. And they were able to hang on and take the third set win. And now they have the lead in the match. We're going to take another break here on the Red Wolves Sports Network and bring you back more IU East volleyball here in just a few minutes on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Up into the front row, and right there, Gates with a nice kill to end the first set. There is Gates with the kill. Gates with the kill. Here's Gates with a kill, and Bailey Gates back to serve now. Here's her serve. That's going to be an ace. Bailey Gates with the kill. And Gates with the kill. Blocked up front by Bailey Gates. The ball, there is Gates with a nice kill. And Gates that time. And right there was Bailey Gates up in the front row for the Red Wolves. And welcome back to IU East Volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. A 2-1 lead in the match for IU East. And they just picked up the third set 25-21. They also won the second set 25-22. So the Red Wolves have now won 2 consecutive sets here in the matchup over the Bethel Wildcats. So we're looking forward to another exciting third set. Looks like Bailey Gates is back to serve to start things off for IU East here in the fourth set at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Here's the serve. Goes over into the back row, picked up by the libero. And it's going to be out of bounds off of the Red Wolves. A 1-0 start here for the Wildcats of Bethel. There's the serve, goes over to Mallory Livingston. And it's going to be kept alive by the Wildcats. Hannah Best with the dig in the back row, goes across, and it's a point to IU East. All tied up 1-1 here in the fourth set. IU East jumped out with that. It was about a 7-point lead there in the third set, and that was major credit to what helped them win that set. And here we go once again. It's going to be set over, and Durham hits it way up off the ceiling. And sure you couldn't see the look on her face on the camera, but that was one of those priceless facial expressions after the ball went flying up and hit the ceiling that time. It ends up being a point to Bethel, though, however. 2-1. Here's the serve from Yobst. Goes over to the Red Wolves, and Steinbrenner trying to block up front that time. Here's Tori Snyder getting the ball across the floor. Way up in the air once again. Pavey gets it across by setting it. And here is Mallory Livingston. This one's going to be inbounds for a kill, and it ties it up at 2. 2-2 in the fourth set. IU East has the 2-1 lead in the match. There's the set. And another block up front by the Red Wolves, and it's now 3-2. Roll the ball back to Abby Ketchum. And that's going to be an ace there. It'll be 4-2 here in the fourth set. So the Red Wolves looking to pick up a win here. If they can pick up a win, they will advance to, I believe, 3-5 on the season. And there's going to be a nice save by Abby Ketchum. Hannah Best gets it back across for the Red Wolves. And it's going to be back over and a point to the Wildcats, 4-3. So a 1-point advantage for the IU East Red Wolves. Here's the serve from Monique Johnson. And it's going to be blocked up in the front row. And the out of bounds is going to be the official ruling on the floor. So it's 4-4 in the fourth set. Here's the serve. Goes back to Madison Yoder with the dig. And Livingston with the kill. And it's going to be called out of bounds, 5-4. Bethel with the advantage. So a 1-point lead for the Bethel Wildcats. Here's the serve. Goes back to Mallory Livingston. And it's going to be another point to Bethel, 6-4. So a 2-point lead for the Wildcats. And here is the serve from Johnson. Goes just over the top of the net and off of the hands of Ketchum and Livingston. And it's now a 3-point advantage for the Wildcats. Three-point lead. Johnson continues to serve. And that's going to be out of bounds off of Madison Yoder. 8-4, and Coach Niekamp wants to take a timeout. She sees something, and she wants to try to fix it here early on in the fourth set. The Red Wolves have the 2-1 lead in the matchup. So we'll take another quick break with more IU East volleyball coming up next, right after this.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
And we're back to Columbia, Kentucky, to the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. I'm Caleb Gillock, the voice of your IU East Red Wolves. Thanks for joining us once again, 8-4. Right now, Bethel University, they have the lead here in the fourth set. The first set was won by Bethel, and then the Red Wolves came back and won the second and third sets with scores of 25-22 and 25-21. Here's Missy Bedell with the kill for the Red Wolves, and it's now 8-5. Good kill there by Bedell. And Mallory Livingston will now serve for IU East. Goes over to the back row to Yobst. And picked up by Ketchum. Yoder with the dig. Here is Gates with the attack. Goes back over to the back row to Mallory Livingston. And Bailey Gates gets it across. There's the dig by the Wildcats. They get it across, and it's going to be out of bounds. They point to the Red Wolves, and it is now going to be 8-6. There's what the official scoreboard here inside of the Bigger Sports Center has. IU East, the home team, on the scoreboard. Here's the serve. Goes over to the Wildcats. Almost blocked up front by the Red Wolves, but it's going to be tipped out of bounds, and another point to the Wildcats, who now have a 3-point advantage, 9-6. Another server for Bethel going back to serve. It's going to be number 15, Daisy Littlenquist, and she is from Dyersburg, Tennessee. Went a sophomore on the Bethel roster. There's the set, goes back over, and it's going to be picked up by Mallory Livingston with the dig. But another point to Bethel. They have double digits now in the fourth set, 10-6. A 4-point advantage over IU East. Out on the floor right now for the Red Wolves, Yoder, Livingston, Gates, Steinbrenner, Bedell, and Ketchum, I believe. Waiting on the serve. Here it is, goes over to Mallory Livingston. Set by Ketchum. Here's Missy Bedell. Picked up by the Wildcats. Goes back over. Bedell with the dig. Here's Livingston with the attack. Goes over and off the hands of Rebecca Yobst. And it's now 10-7. The Red Wolves only trail by 3. So a 3-point deficit for IU East. Here's the serve from Madison Yoder. And it's going to be a service error after the serve goes long. Another point to the Wildcats, who now lead 11-4. And that will put number 20. That's going to be Sierra McDowell back to serve for the Wildcats. Here's the serve. Goes back over to Livingston with the dig, set by Ketchum. Durham gets it across the net for the Red Wolves. And here we go once again with the Wildcats trying to get it back over, and they do with a kill. It is 12-7. Bethel not backing down either. They want to take it to 5. So a 5-point advantage. And here's the serve. Goes back over. There's the dig by Ketchum. And a kill by the Red Wolves this time, and that narrows the lead down to 4. It'll now be 12-8. And going back to serve now for IU East is going to be Bella Pavey. And now just waiting on the serve. There it is, goes over. There's the set. And it's going to be back to Mallory Livingston. Set by Pavey, gets it across the net, and a little bit of an error there on the part of the Wildcats. And now it's 12-9. IU East down by 3. Pavey continues to serve for IU East. Here's the serve, goes back across, and not able to return it. It's going to be 12-10. Red Wolves have narrowed the lead down to 2 for the Wildcats. Here's Pavey with the serve, goes over. There's the dig and the set. Going to be over to Madison Yoder, set by Pavey. Here's Bailey Gates. It's going to be tipped out of bounds and goes over into the bleachers. And that's a point to the Red Wolves, now only down by 1, 12-11. Here's Pavey with the serve. Goes over to the left side. Set by Johnson. And Durham tried to keep it alive, but it's going to be tipped out of bounds. And it's a 2-point lead for the Wildcats. 13-11. Back to serve for Bethel. It's going to be Maddie Morris. Here's the serve. Goes over to Madison Yoder. Set. And the attack by Sydney Durham. And now we're back down to a 1-point game, 13-12. Bailey Gates back to serve for the Red Wolves. Sophomore from Winchester Community High School. It's going to be a service error and a point to Bethel. And it's now 14-12. Looks like the server now is going to be Aloysia Sells. And he goes back over into the back row. Here's the set and the attack by Lillenquist. And almost had 2 hits there that time, but some smart thinking on the behalf of the Wildcats. And there's Snyder with another kill for the Red Wolves. And we're down to a 1-point game once again, 14-13. IU East just got to be able to tie it up. Sydney Durham back to serve for the IU East Red Wolves. And here is the serve. It's going to go and be a service error, 15-13. So the Red Wolves down by 2 here in the 4th set. But they have the 2-1 lead in the match. Set by Pavey. And the kill by Livingston is going to be tipped out of bounds. And it's 15-14. Back to a 1-point game. Abby Ketchum goes back to serve for IU East. Here's her serve, goes over. And there's the set. And it's going to be tipped out of bounds off the hands of Jobst. And we're now all tied up at 15. Bella Pavey's down there cheering them on. Now it's all tied up. You know what? He's one guy I've seen, I think, at every single game so far this year. And there's going to be another point to the Red Wolves. And it's going to be a 1-point lead now for IU East, 16-15. Here's Abby Ketchum back to serve. Going to be set by Morris. And the attack over to Ketchum, but it's going to be hit out of bounds. And we're all tied up once again at 16. Here in the 4th set. Tell you what, I believe every match that we've had so far is one of those that you've probably been sitting on the edge of your seat at home listening to see what finds out. Because I know we have been here. 1-point lead now for IU East after it goes out of bounds. It's going to be 17-16. And Mallory Livingston back to serve for the Red Wolves. Here's the serve. There's the dig and the attack. It's going to be out of bounds. A point to IU East, now up by 2. It's 18-16. The serve goes over into the back row. The dig. All kinds of work over here on the Wildcats side of the floor, and both Livingston and Bethel go after the ball, but just aren't able to get to it. And now we're down to a 1-point game once again. However, the Red Wolves are on top this time of the score, 18-17. 1-point lead for the Red Wolves. And it looks like here's Lillenquist back to serve once again. Here's the serve by Lillenquist. Goes over into the back row, picked up by Livingston, set by Ketchum. Steinbrenner with the kill for the Red Wolves. And it's now 19-17 off of a big hit there by Steinbrenner. 19-17 in the fourth set. Madison Yoder back to serve for the Red Wolves. And hard hit there by Jobst. She gets up and starts slipping, but she appears to be okay. It's going to be another point to the Red Wolves after it goes out of bounds, 20-17. 5 points away for the Red Wolves from ending the match. Here's the serve. Goes over to Jobst in the back row. That time, Yoder is able to get it across for IU East. She tries to save it and goes over and hits the scores table. 20-18, a point back to the Wildcats. And going back to serve now once more, Sierra McDowell for the Wildcats of Bethel University. Goes over, here's the set, and that time Bedell is able to get it across the net for the Red Wolves. It's going to be a point to IU East off of 2 hits, 21-18. Tori Snyder over there getting ready to come back into the game for IU East. Pavey, Livingston, Yoder, Snyder, Gates, and Durham out on the floor for the Red Wolves. Here's the serve from Pavey, goes over to the back row. There's the dig and the attack, and off the hands of Mallory Livingston. It's 21-19. So a 2-point advantage for the Red Wolves here in their final game of the 2015 Lindsey Wilson College Classic. And Maddie Morris will go back to serve again for the Bethel University Wildcats. And another point to IU East, 22-19. Bailey Gates now back to serve for the Red Wolves. Here's the serve from the sophomore. There's the set. And the block up front by the Red Wolves, 23-19. Looking forward to picking up a win here at Lindsey Wilson College today, and a timeout taken by Bethel. And they want to take a second and figure some things out here as we near the end of the fourth set. So we're going to take a quick timeout here on the Red Wolves Sports Network as well. And we'll be right back with more IU East volleyball right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network right after this.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And back to IU East volleyball on the Red Wolves Sports Network. 23-19, IU East has the lead in the fourth set with the 2-1 lead in the match. Here is Bailey Gates with the serve for the Red Wolves. Goes over to Jobst. And it's going to be blocked up front by Durham. It's going to be tipped out of bounds, however. So it's going to be a point given to the Wildcats, who now have 20 points here in the fourth set. 23-20, and here's the serve. Goes over to Mallory Livingston with the dig, set by Pavey. Here's Livingston with the kill, and it's 24-20. It's going to bring up match point here for the IU East Red Wolves in the 2015 Lindsey Wilson College Classic. Sydney Durham goes back to serve for IU East. And here is the serve. Goes over. Snyder able to get the set up for Pavey and back across once more. Here's the set by Morris. And it's going to be a kill out of bounds, and the Red Wolves pick up the 25-20 win here today over the Bethel University Wildcats. What an exciting one this game has been, and just a great effort by the Red Wolves. Looked like things are finally starting to gel for IU East, and definitely looking forward as we get ready to play more games this next week and make the trip up to Pittsburgh next weekend. Don't forget to stay tuned and come back with the IU East Volleyball postgame show right here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. We'll be right back here in just a moment.
Dylan Newman had a terrible dislocated shoulder after a bad dirt bike accident. The long-term solution, surgery and intense rehab.
I trusted Reed Orthopedics because they had already fixed my ankle. And within 4 months of my surgery, Dr. Miller and my Reed therapist, April, helped me to regain my motion and most of my strength. Thanks to Reed Ortho, I can get back to what I love. It's all about trust. Right, Dr. Miller?
Right here at Reed.
Right here in Richmond.
My husband Larry came to Reed because he was in respiratory distress, and he came in through the emergency room and almost dying. The ethic of camaraderie and teamwork and customer service was extraordinary. After a few weeks of care with the fantastic staff in the medical, the CCU, the rehab departments, everywhere, he came home to me in one piece and ready to start the next stage of his life. We absolutely believe that Reed Hospital and the people here saved his life.
And welcome back to the IU East Volleyball postgame show here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Now joining me is head coach Abby Niekamp. Well, we got a win here this weekend. Tell us a little bit about this game.
Oh, this was a great game for us. Bethel is so good. You know, we had a chance to watch them before we went out and played, and we kind of knew who to key on. And we finally put together a good match this weekend. So we're pretty happy with this win.
You know, you only had one win this weekend, but the losses weren't necessarily bad losses. Those were against a lot of competitive teams. How do you think that those losses helped build the team this weekend?
Oh, those teams were so, they were so different, but they were, also competitive. So I think we were learning to adjust to different teams a little bit better. So this last one, we adjusted to what we were finding on the other side of the court, and we recovered better to what they were sending over. So it was just a complete match for us.
Now, I'm sure it looked different down on the floor than it did up here, but from up here, it looked like the team was finally starting to gel out there on the floor a little bit, getting to know what each other is going to do. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. We kind of went into this last match knowing that there was nothing left to lose. It was our last match of the day, so they just went out and they gave it their all, and they played loose, and they had fun with it.
All right, thank you, Coach, and congratulations
Thank you.
on another win here today. The Red Wolves improved to 3-5 on the season, and one win here this weekend at the Lindsey Wilson College Classic. So a 3-1 win for the IU East over the Bethel University Wildcats. Bethel won the first set 25-23, and then the Red Wolves won from there 25-22, 25-21, and 25-20. Don't forget that there's more games coming up for the Red Wolves later on this week and a trip to Pittsburgh next weekend. I'll get my schedule pulled up here for the IU East Red Wolves volleyball team. Of course, I believe there's a game coming up here in the middle of this week. Yes, that's going to be at Earlham College September 2nd, a 6 p.m. start time. We'll be doing that game with WCTV, so be sure to tune in for that game. That'll be another exciting one over at Earlham College. Of course, if you can make it, it's just about 10 minutes across town from the IU East campus. So if you can make it there to support the Red Wolves, that's great. But we'd also love to have you watching our broadcast here on the Red Wolves Sports Network. Once again, the Red Wolves pick up a win 3-1 over Bethel University and improve to 3-5 on the season. I'm Caleb Gillock, the voice of your IU East Red Wolves. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.